show, we told you about Donald Trump. He's delaying his pick for vice president in the wake of the attacks in France. But CBS News is reporting it will be Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Hillary Clinton will also make her pick soon. It is a position known as one heartbeat away from the presidency, but they don't usually get much attention. So I even think about just the RNC that was held here back in 2008, and think about Sarah Palin and how she really was maybe one candidate that actually did affect the presidency.
Right, and that was a very unique case. But if you look, the vice presidency position has taken a lot more responsibility in the past generation. You look at Vice President Biden, you look at Vice President Cheney, they were major advisors to the president. But the actual pick probably doesn't really matter much when it comes to being elected. I mean, Paul Ryan didn't even deliver Wisconsin for Mitt Romney back in 2012.
And that goes against the conventional thinking.
Absolutely.
You always hear like, okay, we're going to pick a vice presidential candidate from a swing state that if we win, that'll help us win towards the election. But that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, that goes all the way back to JFK and LBJ when they thought he could deliver Texas for them. But what the research shows is it doesn't really help that much because people are really voting on the president.
They're voting on the person they like.
Vice president.
Does it give them an initial sort of maybe a boost in the headlines? Because it seems to me like they're very calculated decisions and they always try to pick whatever maybe that candidate is lacking for president. They try and pick a VP that might give them a little boost in those areas.
Right. And it gives them a little boost in terms of the news coverage right around that time. It probably helps them later on as they're advising, but when it comes down to electability, it's not a huge deal. But they just did a study that looked at 12 potential vice presidential picks. They found only 2 would make a difference. So on the Democratic side,
Bernie.
Yep, he would help Clinton, is what they found.
Okay.
And on the Republican side,
We already talked about her.
Sarah Palin. She would actually hurt Donald Trump, according to this poll, according to the survey.
Well, see, that surprises me because we've heard a lot of talk about Elizabeth Warren being a potential a VP for Hillary. And the thought there is that she would attract a lot of Bernie's followers because they're so similar in some of their policy stances.
She still didn't make a notable difference in the surveys of people. No, not in the same way that Bernie Sanders did.
And you talk about surveys. I saw one poll. It was a Pew Research poll. They interviewed people about the VP back when Joe Biden had just taken over about a year and a half in, and no one could even name who the vice president was.
Would you say like a third of people didn't know who he was?
36%.
So, I mean, and that's also very telling. And so, I mean, a lot of people also don't know who Mike Pence is.
Sure.
And so that's, it's going to be hard. You're going to vote for Trump or you're going to vote for Clinton, and then there's this small group of people in the middle that probably aren't choosing on the vice presidential pick.
Well, all right. Very cool. All right.